Welcome back. You're watching Situation Room. I'm your host, Khalid. But since earlier this afternoon, we've been discussing what has happened post Pahalgam false flag operation and India's blatant and violent aggression late last night that resulted in the martyrdom of 26 innocent Pakistanis and the injuries to around 46 others. There has been a lot of reaction that has come from within India as well against it, as well as from different countries across the world. Many countries have sided with Pakistan on Pakistan's perspective. Pakistan had always asked for an independent and impartial inquiry into it, which India never agreed to. And the fact is, the very fact that it resorted to blatant aggression and this kind of violent attitude towards Pakistan and towards innocent civilians, when it says the contrary, is a testament to the very mentality that India and Indian leadership represents. We've been joined by Raja Faisal to discuss more on that, another equally passionate person when it comes to our not so friendly neighbor.
Oh, yes.
Raja Faisal, thank you very much to have joined us. You've heard what Bilawal Bhutto Zardari had to say. I'd like to highlight one of the things: unprovoked, deliberate act of war from India. This is a consensus from across the board in Pakistan. All the political parties have the same stance, our forces have the same stance, our government has the same stance, and also that Pakistan reserves the right to respond at a time and a place of its choosing and in whichever way it deems probable. What kind of pressure is India in at this moment as we speak? Because I feel, and I'm sure you would agree with me as well, that India thought it would just bomb some missiles and say, oh, you know, it has killed XYZ people, when the truth is far from that, and then of course retreat. But can India retreat this way?
You know, Omar, when we talk about whether Pakistan has the right to respond, I think this is the second, twice we have a right to respond. Reason being, the first act of war was when India said that unilaterally they are going to shut down the IWT, which Pakistan categorically said. Pakistan categorically said that this would be considered as an act of war, and Pakistan reserves the right to, of course, respond to it. And this last night's attack on Pakistan, on innocent people of Pakistan, where children has given their lives, where women, they have given their lives, where elderly people of Pakistan, they are giving their lives. If there was any shame left in India, they should have come on the TVs. Narendra Modi, if he ever had an iota of shame left in himself, he should have appeared on the TV and said apologies to Pakistan. Reason being, we are not living in that kind of age where you can stigmatize a Muslim nation like Pakistan. And overall, which we have been seeing, that post 9/11, there was a stigma that was always attached with the Muslim nations and Muslim populations, and they were always being considered as terrorist. It has an extremist. It has nothing to do with that, and we will never allow India to continue play on these lines. India actually is utilizing the lines, utilizing the narratives which the Western countries, they have been utilizing in the past. And even the Western countries, they have come to realization that not all the nations, not every Muslim is a terrorist. And the way they have conducted this raid last night, have you seen 3-year-old kids? 3-year-old kids, they are being butchered by this butcher of Gujarat by sending all of his fighter jets to Pakistan. And of course, what were they doing here? They were doing only on the basis of their fake intelligence that somehow there are sanctuaries of terrorists in these places. I mean, places in Muzaffarabad, it's a mosque. It's called Bilal Masjid. I have all the details wherever they have actually conducted this raid, and I want to share it with you. When it comes to Ahmedpur Sharkia.
All right. Faisal, I'd like to, before we go to that, I'd like to also understand the very fact that that you had to, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, in his comments to the international media, has said many things that have been very important, that have been on the minds of people in Pakistan, and I'm sure of a lot of people across the world as well. You were talking about the mosques. Please go ahead and then I'll ask you the next question.
Yeah, I just wanted to, Umar, share with you where they have obviously launched missiles and how
Four
many missiles.
mosques, Faisal, 4 mosques.
Ahmedpur Sharkia, Bahawalpur, Ahmedpur East, it's called as well. Target was Subhan Mosque plus 4 residential quarters. And 4 missiles struck there, casualties 5 killed, including a 3-year-old girl, 31 injured, 25 men, 6 women. Most of them, they are very serious in the hospital. Damage, mosque destroyed completely, adjacent houses, they damaged. And of course, few of the people, they were actually killed in them houses, the adjacent houses. When we talk about Muzaffarabad, target was Bilal Mosque. 7 missiles struck there, 7 missiles on 1 mosque. And casualties, 1 girl injured there who was living, her house was next to this mosque. Damage, mosque completely destroyed. Kotli, target, Ibadat Mosque. 5 missiles struck there, casualties, 2 killed, a 16-year-old girl and an 18-year-old boy. 2 injured, a woman and her daughter. Both of them, they are injured, and by the way, they are severely injured and they are in a critical condition right now, and God saves them. Then we talk about obviously Muridke near Lahore. Obviously target was Amul Koda Mosque. 4 missiles struck there, casualties 1 person killed, 1 injured, 2 missing. Damage, mosque destroyed completely. Local porters obviously suffered economic losses as well, because there are many shops around it as well, because it's a busy place. It's a busy civilian place where they have been conducting these raids. Kotli, Lodra, Sialkot, next to Sialkot, of course, target open field, missile, 2 missiles struck in the open field because they were misdirected. Damage caused none, casualties none. Of course, when we talk about near Sheikhupura, target dispensary, there is a dispensary of an organization that we have been seeing that they have been, of course, catering the local people with the health and these kind of issues. 2 missiles struck there, casualties, no reports yet. We haven't received any, but there are people who got injured, but the injuries are minor, not the big, because they were a bit far from that place, because it was middle of the night and there were not many people out there. When it comes to targeting the civilians, what are you doing? Why are you doing? And are you doing it only to serve your political purposes? Everyone knows that you are heading towards another important election in UP Bihar, which everyone, all of the political commentators of India, they are saying that if BJP loses this election, their government in the center would be obviously shattered. And that's why you are doing, and on the behest of killing innocent civilians, killing innocent children and women, that's what you're trying to do in your country to of course garner the support and vote on ground. You're just killing people in Pakistan.
Anything for politics in India.
Anything in politics. Obviously, when we take the example of today's India, of course, it is being revolving around since more than 10 years. It's been revolving around politics of hate against the Muslims, against the Kashmiris, and against Pakistan. When it comes to, of course, Muslims all over country, everyone knows that they get lashed by people of Hindutva ideology, and then nobody says anything to them. They get butchered by them. Nobody says anything. Gau Rakshaks, people who are out there to, of course, seek justice for holy cow. No justice for the humans, but the holy cow gets the justice. And if anyone from the Muslims, even if they are holding it, they would consider them to be, of course, taking it to slaughterhouse and get slaughtered.
All right, before we go any further, I'd like to also reiterate something that Bilawal Bhutto Zardari said while addressing the international media, and he said something that is very relevant. He said India has manufactured a lie. Now, this manufacture of the lie, of course, he was referring to the Pahalgam false flag operation. But manufacture of a lie is nothing new to India, is it?
Yeah.
When you look at all its past and how it's been framing and maligning and trying to destabilize Pakistan one way or the other, the whole plethora of lies is there. The EU Disinfo Lab was just an example, wasn't it?
Yeah. And you know, when it comes to the very first attack, Uri attack, what happened after that? Of course, they claimed that they have conducted a raid inside, Pakistan side of the line of control, and they have raided, of course, a madrasa or a training camp, as they were saying, and no proofs were there, but they later on created a movie called Uri. And in that movie,
again,
of course,
a
false flag. It was a false flag attack, and they killed their own soldiers, and then later on created this movie.
They even made Abhinandan a hero. They gave him a medal for what?
You know what, Umar? I always say, I mean, once I remember I was told that when I highlighted Abhinandan, they said, "Oh, we forced you to send him back." Then I said, "Well, he wasn't important for us anyway." They go, "No, he was a pilot." And then I said, if he was that important, he should have been given at least Su-30. This poor guy was in MiG-21. And if he was one of the best you had, then he would have been in the Su-30s. Rather, he was in MiG-21s. It means that he wasn't important to you at all.
One of the aircraft that was downed by Pakistan.
Yeah, it was. And but this particular pilot was actually in MiG-21 when he got shot near the line of control. And Umar, the important thing is that this time around, after Uri, we had Pulwama, and after Pulwama, I think it was a sort of a chance for India to come to terms with it, that if they want to be a hegemon towards Pakistan, Pakistan will never allow it. But I think they still wanted to test Pakistan, whether Pakistan does anything or not. Back in February 2019, of course, Pakistan gave a bloody nose to India, a befitting reply. And after that reply, of course, they figured out that they lack in certain areas, especially in air superiority. Pakistan is very superior. Pakistan Air Force is very superior when it comes to air superiority. And of course, we remember Modi kept on saying that if there were Rafales with us, the situation would have been entirely different. Now, this time around, they had Rafales, and situation isn't very different.
Yes.
And situation is even worse.
Pakistan has said, but it told even India beforehand, if you resort to any kind of aggression, you will be responded with effectively.
Exactly. Last time around, Pakistan said it and India didn't listen. This time around, Pakistan said it, India didn't listen. But Umar, I think there is a fault on the hands of the Western countries as well, and the most powerful countries of the world as well, especially the United Nations Security Council, because they should have reacted to India at the time of Uri false flag. They should have reacted, if not at Uri, then they should have reacted to India at Pulwama. If not Pulwama, then of course after February 2019's episode, they should have reacted to India and asked India to behave. Rather, why they have been continuously standing with India, because they have their own regional goals to score. They have own regional goals to score against China, and that's why they kept on considering that.
Let's not go into the details, because then it will include the assassinations in the US, in Canada, in the United Kingdom, in Australia, and of course what happened in Qatar, and the list goes on, and even the killings that have happened in Pakistan. These are blatant examples of the way India resorts to violence and terrorism
and exporting terrorism.
Exactly. And of course the Jafar Express incident is one major example. Well, you were talking to me about the effectiveness of the Pakistan Air Force. Let's talk about the Pakistan Army as well. Let's talk about the different posts that have been destroyed. The Sarlia one post that was destroyed in Kot Kathura sector in Kotli. The Indian post that was destroyed in Pandu sector. The Indian 6 Mahar Battalion headquarters that was completely destroyed. White flags that were raised at Vanjal forward post in Lipa Valley. White flag that was raised at Chirikot sector opposite Sanghar post. And of course, Dharamsal 1 and 2 enemy posts also destroyed. I mean, I can give you a list of all of that. We have to go to this breaking news and we'll be back. Shehbaz Sharif was addressing the National Assembly. Right now, Musharraf Zahoor joins us online. Musharraf, thank you very much to have joined us. Musharraf, could you give us more details about this address? What were the important points?
Well, it was really an important National Assembly session which held today in the aftermath of India's aggressive posturing. Last night, India attacked Pakistan, and our brave soldiers defended the country effectively and also destroyed five of Indian aircrafts. In that backdrop, at the outset of the session, the lawmakers were highly charged. They raised slogans, and after which Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif delivered his speech. He said that our enemy tried to attack Pakistan last night, but our brave armed forces gave a befitting response to the enemy. And he said that in that attack, many Pakistanis, including children, women, were martyred. And he said that he also, said that House should offer Fatiha, after which Planning Minister Ahsan Iqbal administered the Fatiha dua for the martyred Pakistanis in Indian attack. He's speaking on the floor of the House. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said on April 22, a condemnable incident occurred in Pahalgam, Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and after which Indian leadership and media, without investigating the incident, started hurling accusations against Pakistan. And within 10 minutes of the incident, even India filed an FIR. He also said that India instead, Pakistan also talked to its friendly countries and also offered an independent and impartial inquiry into Pahalgam incident, to which India till yesterday did not accept it and did not provide any proof, and did not provide a positive response to Pakistan's continued offer for an independent and impartial inquiry into the incident. He said that India instead served demarche to an ambassador of a friendly country who offered India on Pakistan's behalf to hold an investigation into the incident. He also congratulated Pakistani nation, the lawmakers, and also PAF chief for such an effective and timely response to the Indian aggression. And he said that communication of Rafale aircraft was locked by Pakistan Air Force, and they had to land on Srinagar airport. And he said that in last night's attack by India, 80 Indian aircraft were involved in that operation. And he said that India attacked six areas in two areas in Azad Jammu and Kashmir. Also, he said that Pakistan Air Force was completely prepared, and our planes did not cross over across the border. And he said that PAF destroyed five Indian planes, including three Rafale aircraft. Also, he said that Pakistan proved that it is an effective conventional and nuclear power. He also offered all political forces, all parliamentary parties to sit together, and his of good offices are open for them, and they should join hands for country and for country's development progression. And he also said that this is the right time for all political forces and the nation to join hands and work for the country.
All right, Musharraf, also one very important thing that came out of this address is the unified stance of the all the National Assembly members that were there. Whenever the Prime Minister said whatever he highlighted was attributed with thumps across the board, whether it be from one side of the podium or the other side. How important was that showing of unified response and unified resolve from all members of the National Assembly, irrespective of their party affiliation?
Yes, we have seen that on both sides of the aisle. Prime Minister's speech was punctuated by loud thumping and slogans from both sides, from the opposition and the Tahiri benches, and all the members supported Pakistan Prime Minister's points, and they were very enthusiastic. They are very positive, and the body language of all the lawmakers were very charged and they seemed united against any Indian aggression, and that was the message that has been sent not to the nation but to the world as well. And Prime Minister's speech was heard and was backed by both sides of the aisle. And also in response, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif also offered the opposition parties to join hands for the development and progression of the country, especially in the face of Indian aggression. He said that his good offices are open for all political forces, especially the opposition, and he is ready to resolve all issues for the sake of country. That was really a good message and a timely message that had to be sent to the Pakistani nation, that we are united against any aggression, we are united against any threat, and we are united for development and progression of the country.
All right. Also, Musharraf, I'd like to understand, the Prime Minister again reiterated the request that he had made before, the demand of an impartial probe by an international commission that was not responded to effectively by the Indian side as well. Does this offer still stand? As per what the Prime Minister highlighted during his address to the National Assembly, do you I'd like to understand the whole perspective around this when he was addressing this August session.
Yes, he particularly mentioned Pahalgam incident that triggered this kind of situation, and he said that Pakistan has continuously been offering an independent, impartial inquiry into Pahalgam incident, and instead of giving a positive response to Pakistan, India till yesterday did not respond positively, and even served a démarche to a friendly country who on behalf of Pakistan offered for an investigation. So this was the attitude he actually lamented and also regretted, that India, this false flag operation in Pahalgam, India had it was as per India's well-hedged conspiracy, and to malign, it was an effort by India to malign Pakistan. But he said in his speech that Pakistan continuously been offering diplomatically to its friendly countries, to world powers, that Pakistan wants an impartial inquiry that will bring truth before the world. And he said that India did not budge and never gave a positive response to Pakistan to Pakistan's offer of impartial inquiry. So that was he regretted this and said that instead India started a baseless propaganda against Pakistan. Not only Indian government, but it used all propaganda techniques and means to malign Pakistan on international level. But he said that fortunately, India, the world community, Pakistan provided them with sincerity all its narrative, and also offered them to hold inquiry. And he also particularly mentioned that after Pahalgam incident, instead of it was just 10 minutes that India even filed an FIR. That speaks louder of Indian conspiracy, India's well-hedged conspiracy behind this Pahalgam incident. So Pakistan has been offering, and he said that he has had to take part in a funeral of a martyr who actually martyred in last night's Indian attack, and therefore he very briefly and very effectively conveyed that Pakistan is a peace-loving country, and he also gave a message to the nation that all political parties are united. And he, of course, reiterated Pakistan's stance for a stable and peaceful South Asia. And also, of course, it seems so that Pakistan wants an impartial inquiry into this. Now, India has crossed all limits, and it has now become an aggressor. And Pakistan has certainly effectively responded, but India initiated this India crossed Pakistan, crossed this very limit and became an aggressor. So Pakistan's offer for an impartial inquiry stand this is there, and Prime Minister's speech also reflected that there. But the situation has changed since yesterday. And,
All right. Thank you very much, Musharraf Zahoor, to have joined us and to have given us a very detailed outlook of what the Prime Minister had to say in the National Assembly. We've been also joined by Air Marshal retired Masood Akhtar, a dear analyst who has always his eyes and his ears on the strategies and geopolitics. Thank you very much, sir, to have joined us. I'd like to understand, under the circumstances that Pakistan is facing at this moment, this jingoistic attitude, this warmongering, we see, we have been seeing, let's put it that way, a unified stance from all the different segments of the society, whether it be they belong to the government or they belong to the opposition. There is a united front when it comes to Pakistan, Pakistan's defense and Pakistan's priorities, and this has also been highlighted during the Prime Minister's address right now. We have to go to this break. Now, we were talking to Air Marshal Masood Akhtar when Bilal Bhutto Zardari started his address to the National Assembly. Sir, thank you very much, first of all, for giving us the time and being so patient. Secondly, I'd like to, reiterate something that Bilal Bhutto Zardari said, and then I'll come to the Prime Minister. Bilal Bhutto Zardari said, we don't want war, but it should not be construed as our weakness. Why? I'd like to understand, as somebody who has such a vast experience as you have, why has India time and again tried to impose war or a war-like situation on us?
Thank you. I'd like to put it another way, and I said this on all channels today. While it is a day of pride and joy for us, we must do a lot of introspection as to why is it that every second year, if not every fifth year, we get into some kind of a violence with India. We need to look deep within ourselves. Why is it that there are over 24 factions in groups in Pakistan that are opposing one another? Why is it that there are at least half a dozen, if not 2, 3, 4 groups that are at war with one another? Why is it that the Indians can claim that they can buy people with money, and they've done that? They have gotten removed. Urdu mein kehte hain, thok
The
diya.
DG ISP also talked about one such Indian trained person
In Urdu we
who was
said
behind.
thok diya. They thoko fight 20 plus of our people, and we cannot even open our mouth. You know, there is something deeply wrong with us as a society. Not a fault of the politicians alone, not a fault of the army alone. We all need to do a lot of thinking from inside.
Introspection is what Air Marshal Masood Akhtar Saab says. We have to go to this break. A thing that we talked about during the whole scenario was the rules of engagement in wartime and in peacetime. How important are those, and what is Pakistan's, as Pakistan has said that it reserves the right to respond at a time and a place of its choosing. What kind of response are we looking at as well?
Number one, rules of engagement. Before the war breaks out formally, whenever an aerial engagement takes place, the wreckage must fall 10 kilometers within our borders. This is normal. What these 4 Rafales did is normal. 65, 71. On their side used to be the Indian aircraft, on this side Pakistani aircraft, and you fly parallel and probe each other's defenses. So in this case, I personally think they did not need an order to shoot or not to shoot. Please understand that when Rafiki shot 4 vampires in 65, when he came back, because this was right over the LOC, which was on River Tavi, and the comical thing that was happening was that there was an L-19 with Noor Khan aboard, who was flying underneath, and Rafiki gave a call to his number 2. He said, number 2, let's watch out. We may not shoot our own chief. The situation before war is so complex. After the war breaks out, there are no holds barred. So when he came back after shooting 4 aeroplanes, he was a hero. But the base station commander and others, they really scrutinized as to where did you shoot and where did the wreckage fall, that the war may not break out. Likewise, during the Afghan war, similar things happened. So we need to be very careful. Now, what should be our response? During the swift retort, it so happened that we did not have all the intelligence. We had combat air patrols at night. Those were vectored onto the formation, Indian formation that attacked Balakot. And we had 2 caps. One was very, of course, the enemy is also, they are a professional air force. They tracked they generated a spurious track towards Bhavalpur and Lahore. So one cap or combat air patrol was vectored towards that. Meanwhile, this threat actually matured when the Mirages pulled up with their weapons. So the second cap was vectored towards this attack over Muzaffarabad. And as they, of course, sensed they were being told, so these people turned quickly, got close to Balakot, fired their weapons, and whatever damage that they did. So next morning when we looked at the damage, there was no damage. So Mujahid Anwar said, we are going to choose the place and time of attack. So he chose the next day, broad light, 10 o'clock. Sidhu had all the information. I spoke with somebody last evening and I know of the meeting that took place.
All right.
And he said, something can happen tonight. And so he was waiting for this. So they were tracking all their aircraft right since the time that they started their engines. Despite the fact that we maintain RT radio silence and we don't give radio calls, etc., there are means to find out as to what is happening. So they found out exactly. By the time they scrambled and got airborne and pulled up, our combat air patrols had been vectored, more aeroplanes had been scrambled, the J-10Cs and F-16 package was vectored towards Muzaffarabad, a similar package was vectored towards, in the south, towards Bhavalpur. The decision making was crucial. What Air Chief Marshal Sidhu decided, he will pull back the package which was supposed to oppose the Bhavalpur raid, and he said the major air combat will take place at Muzaffarabad, because in his mind the wreckage now in terms of rules of engagement could have fallen across the border, and that is what? International border. But here it is across the LOC. So rules of engagement permit that it is disputed territory.
All right.
And even if it falls there, not a problem.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Air Marshal Masood Akhtar Saab, to have stayed with us, to have given us your valuable opinion because of your vast experience as far as Pakistan Air Force is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience as well, and we continue to give you the information that is credible and that is factual.